Hello, welcome to the 2021 Capitol Conference, the virtual edition. Once again, we are forced to do the Capitol UIL Capitol Conference by Zooming. This is a pre-recorded segment that I did to talk about the number sense contest itself. I am Larry White. I'm the Number Sense Contest Director. This is my 20th year to be the Contest Director of Number Sense. I will be doing 2 sessions on Tuesday this week, live sessions where the participants will be able to ask questions and we'll look at whatever questions, answer whatever questions they have, maybe look at some problems, whatever the participants want to do, we'll do. There should be some information posted along with this video, including the last year's state number sense test and key, and some helpful hints for coaches, and whatever else I decide to throw up there, they will be there for you. So that's our sort of where we are now. I wish we were all together face to face. I miss your smiling faces, and I know you miss my antics and my smiling face as well. So we'll go ahead and move on, do the best we can. Hopefully come fall, things will be a little bit different. So here we go. First off, I've put this little problem up here. Number sense is the ability to think on your feet, to do things with your mind and not do things with paper and pencil. And sometimes you have to be able to recognize whether there's a shortcut. We call these tricks, or even though there are no such things as tricks in number sense, they are shortcuts. But we have to be able to first identify if maybe there is one. Now, if you take a look at this particular problem here, it looks like the sum of a bunch of reciprocals. As it turns out, it's more than just some reciprocals. It happens to be the reciprocals of the factors of the number 18, 1 and 18, 2 and 9, 3 and 6. Well, if you have a problem that's looking at the sum of the reciprocals of the factors of a number, is a really nice way to come up with the answer. And then the answer, of course, is 13/6. Now, to be able to come up with that quickly, and you can prove this and do it mathematically, but all you really need to do is add the factors of 18, 1 and 18, 2 and 9, 3 and 6. And if you add those up, you'll get 39. You'll put that over 18, you'll have 39/18, which when you reduce, because everything in number sense has to be reduced, if you reduce, you will get 13/6. Now in number sense, you can write that as 13/6, or you can write that as 2 and 1/6, but you cannot write it as 39/6. Anyways, just thought I would show that to you. So let's move on. All right. As I said before, my name is Larry White, and I'm the Number Sense Contest Director. That's my email, texasmath@centex.net. I encourage coaches to contact me anytime they have a question or they need help or guidance. I'll be more than happy to help you. I cannot accept emails from students. Obviously, if I could take emails from students, I would never have enough room on my email server to handle all the students' questions. So coaches, you are welcome to use that email and email me your students' questions. If your students have a question, they need to come to you, and then you can come to me, and then I will do what I can to solve your problem or answer your question the best I can. And if I don't have the answer, I will get the answer for you. The other thing you see there is the academic STEM number sense link for the UIL webpage. I'm going to leave this for a moment and take you to that page. Okay, this is what it looks like when you go to the academics page. Wanted to take you here because if you'll go over here to academics and slide down here to STEM and move over here to number sense, you will find my number sense page that UIL provides for me to talk with you. And it talks a little bit about the contest itself. It has the contest rules and a copy of the handbook, which you should always have a copy of the handbook with you. You can order it from UIL's store to have your own copy of it. Then there's a download number sense sample testing key. I believe, yeah, I don't, okay, there. This is from 2017. Hopefully by the time you see this video, that will be the 2020 SAC test. But anyways, you can download the test and key as a sample. Let's go back. Okay, but the main reason I wanted to show you this page, well, actually two things. There's a sequencing chart on how number sense is created, and I will talk a little bit more about that here in a little bit. But the main thing I wanted to show you with this corrections page. This is where I actually keep in touch with coaches and students throughout the year if there's an issue. For example, I'll go into last year's, and it talks about any things I want you to know in the beginning. And then it goes down and starts talking about if there's an error on a test or when the tests are being released, so that you don't have to wait for another year when you see me again to know what the errors are or changes in the keys. Wasn't too many errors this last year. We did a rather good job to keep control of the errors. And then it goes off the bottom and it talks about other such things that I want you to know about and any test discussions I want you to know about. So this is a very important page for you to bookmark so that you will be able to look at any corrections and comments that I might have that I want you as coaches and the students to know to look for. So be sure you bookmark this page. The 2018-19 one will be removed here pretty soon, and the new 21-22 correction and comments page will be added relatively soon. So that's an important page on the UIL website that you need to make sure you know how to get to. So let's go back to our presentation. And by the way, this video and the presentation will be available for you to download from UIL, I believe on the next Monday, the 21st. Because if you're watching this, you already know that. Okay, let's talk about the contest itself. Number sense is an 80 problems test based off a sequence chart. So let me jump out of here again and let's go look at the sequence chart. This is what the sequence chart looks like. When I write questions, they are written in packets. For example, all of problems 1 through 20 on all number sense tests will contain these 14 sets of topics. So if you're looking for greatest common divisor, least common multiples, they're going to appear in problems 1 through 20. Now they can also appear anywhere else on the test. Anything in this first set here, 1 through 20, can actually appear anywhere on the test. However, you cannot take, if you go over here to the problems 41 through 60, you cannot take a right triangle problem and put it in 1 through 20. It can be in 41 through 60, but it can't be in 1 through 20. It can also be on anywhere from 40 to 80, but it can't appear before 40. So I hope that makes sense. Once again, absolute value problems under 21 through 40, absolute value problems down here cannot appear above 21, but it can appear anywhere below 21. So anyways, this gives you an idea of how what type of problems are on the contest and how I have to arrange them to make sure that they're in the right place for the test. So that's the sequence chart. You want to be sure and get a copy of that sequence chart so you can work with your kids. It's amazing how much mathematics is in number sense, all the way from basic mathematics to some levels of calculus. It's rather amazing. Okay, let's go back to our PowerPoint. There we go. Okay, so it's 80 problems created by way of the sequence chart. By the way, the sequence chart just tells you what topics there are. They don't have to be in any particular order. It's a 10-minute test. There's no scratch work allowed, no erasing, no marking over. You can't use paper or calculator. This is all done with the mind. That's the reason it's called a mental math contest. It's all done with the mind. Okay, no, you can't erase. Erasing means the problem is incorrect, or if you mark over or scratch out, it's incorrect. Those are just the rules of this particular contest. It's 5 points for each correct answer, and you lose 4 points for any incorrect answer or skipped up to the last one attempted. So if you only wrote 25, then you don't grade 26 through 80. But if you skip number 20, then the skipped one is incorrect. But anything after the last one you completed is not graded. Okay. Problems 10, 20, 30, 40, all the multiples of 10 are estimation problems, and you have a plus or minus 5% error. The estimation problems, believe it or not, are the most missed problems on the number sense contest. In fact, I was looking at the top 6 the 6 state champions from each of the classifications. The top champion, I looked at each one of their papers to see what problems they missed, and there were more estimation problems missed than any other specific topic. So it's because we probably don't do enough estimation, so it's there. So it's an estimation problem, and they ought to be really giveaways, but it takes practice. Types of problems, as I mentioned, you see them on the sequence chart. Grading and scoring rules are found in the 2021-22 UIL Number Sense Handbook, which I'm not sure has been released quite yet, but there's no changes between last year's Number Sense Handbook and this year's. So it's not, until the new one comes in, not to worry about it. Resources. A real valuable resource is the Texas Math Science Coaches Association, been around for many years. It has a newsletter, resource pages, tests, forms. TMSCA is very valuable in that they help visit with the UIL about math and science contests. So very good to have. They have a state meet for high school in March, which any students, any schools that are members of TMSCA can attend, and it's open to all schools that are high schools that are members, and they compete against freshmen, 1A against 1A, so on. Seniors in all 6 classifications, all 5 classifications, compete for scholarships, and that's really a nice thing to have. Anyways, if you need more information, contact Julie. There's her phone number and her email. It's a very, very good organization to be part of. They have lots of practice tests. They provide competition tests for invitation meets throughout the year. Very, very good organization. Go there. The membership is very inexpensive for schools, so you'll want to go try to do that. Some books, practice materials. First off, let me mention I don't get kickbacks from any of these books or any of these people. I just like to find quality material for coaches to be able to access to help them to coach number sets. Don Scow was the number sets director before me for numerous years. He has his little green book, No Sense in Mathematics. Leo Ramirez was the Disney Teacher of the Year, and he has a lot of materials on his RAM materials. Francis Walsall has what we used to refer to as the Little Red Book. And the Little Red Book is for beginners, especially elementary and middle school, and for beginning high school kids. That's a nice little book. Andy Zapata has been in the business for many, many, many years. He's one of the co-founders of TMSCA, the Texas Math Science Coach Association, and Andy has a test writing service. So you may want to get a hold of him if you're looking for some materials. Also, Andy is the elementary and middle school UIL contest director. So if you're looking for some elementary and middle school stuff, which is also good for high school to practice with, you might want to contact Andy. Middle school and high school package, Dr. John Hobbs. He's retired from teaching now, but he still has his middle school packets and high school packets. So you can contact him there. Practice tests, you can get tests from the UIL, you can get texts from TMSCA, Leo Romero has some, Andy Zapata has some, Hexco, you can contact Linda Tarrant. I write 12 practice number sense tests for Hexco every year. Been writing them since 2012, I guess. And I write them just like they were UIL tests. So if you want extra practice tests or a test for a competition, contact Linda Tarrant at Hexco, and you can get my tests that I write for her. Computer software, if you're interested, I have a program that my son and I put together many years ago. It's all over the state of Texas. If you're interested, I don't like to talk too much about that. So you just contact me and I'll talk to you individually about that particular thing. And the UIL number sense mental math mentor, I'm not even sure if that's still there or not. It could be, is something you might want to look into. Websites, of course, UIL academics website is very important. TMSCA.org is important. If you're into virtual competitions, you want to get Chuck Thompson at the virtual challenge meets website. He does virtual meets throughout the year for those people that have difficulty traveling. It's really quite good. Number Dojo is an interesting thing that Jonathan Clough came up with several years ago, full of a lot of information and sort of a unique way to look at number sense. You might want to check that out. And then Brian Heath, who used to be a number sense competitor many years ago, created this book. I think there's 168 pages, something like that, of number sense tricks. It's really nice because if you're looking for certain tricks, you don't know how to do some things, this is pretty good for doing such a thing. It's free, so that'll be nice as well. Some items of interest and things that recently have come about. Education Academy, 2 young men from down in the valley that were in number sense competitions at state, went off to colleges, graduated, came back, and they created this Education Academy. You might be interested. They do tutoring, and they do UIL assistance, and they actually are putting on online competitions for using UIL events. So you might want to take a look at that. It's really quite an interesting programs that they've created. They had me look at it with them and give advice and stuff. And so I encourage you to take a look at that. It's got some really nice things in there. Texas Math Mundo. For those of you that know Saul Cantu, Saul Cantu contacted me sometime here a while back and was sharing with me these videos. He's trying to make UIL more visible. So he's been interviewing state champions and interviewing coaches. He interviewed me. He's just doing this rather because he wants to, and he wants to make UIL competition visible. So go ahead and take a look at that. There's a bunch of YouTube videos on there he's done. They're really quite good. We've been doing a math camp at Texas Tech for, well, last year would have been our 10th year and this year our 11th year, but we had to cancel last year and had to cancel this year. It's called What's Your Problem? And they're already starting to plan for next year in hopes that we are going to have it again. Supposedly it's going to be on July 11th to 19th next summer. You need to contact Jack Barton. There's a web page there if you want to go there. It's a great math camp. We have a lot of fun. I'm there, and Andy Zapata is there, and a bunch of them, Winston Chang, science, just a whole group of really high-class coaches are there to meet with the kids and have sessions all day long for several days. And then we have a competition at the end of the week, and it's really a great camp. If you're interested, contact me or contact Jack. It'll be a good thing for you to take your kids to if and when we get to do it again. Okay, these are some things that I think every number sense kid needs to know automatically memorized. You have to know your first 35 squares. You have to know your first 15 cubes, your first 10 square roots to 3 decimal places. The square root of 2 is 1.414. So you have to, you should know those. You should know your onesies. Now, onesies are like the reciprocals of the first 12 natural numbers: 1/2, 1/3, 1/4, 1/5, all the way up to 1/12. And then I encourage you to include 1/16. You need to know the fraction, the percent, and the decimal equivalents. For example, 1/3 is 0.33 repeating with a decimal, and it's 33 1/3%. So you need to know the equivalencies of all the onesies automatic, because it's just they use them. I use them all the time. They're some of the best shortcuts there are. You need to know the Roman numerals. You need to know the remainder rules, 2 through 10 and 11. If you don't know this, there are remainder rules for numbers way up in the big numbers, but we don't need to know them through 11. So you might want to be sure that they know how to find the remainders for those particular divisors. And then they need to know estimation strategies. You've got to be able to estimate. Best suggestion I have for you there is to take a bunch of number sense tests and pull off all the multiples of 10, all the estimation problems, and just get them practicing and looking for strategies that will make it easier for them to do. Okay, practice tips. You should be able to download some hints page that I sent to UIL. It's supposed to be posted. You ought to be able to download those. And they're suggestions and hints and things that I used as a coach for many years before I retired from public school and then became the director. And I coached for a lot of years and had a very successful team because I had really good kids that worked hard. But one of the things that I was able to convince my kids that speed and accuracy comes from increased knowledge and practice, not from taking tests. It's okay to take time tests, but you can't dedicate all of your practice to test taking. The kids need to work problems, learn more information, see problems they've never seen before so that they can actually understand what this problem is all about. It's a lot like taking that original problem I showed you and recognizing what's in that problem, the factors of 18, and their reciprocals, and how do you do that? They won't be able to do that problem unless they know that that problem is there and how to go about it. So knowledge and practice is the key, not test taking. Some suggestions, quick suggestions I'll take. Putting all the shortcuts in a notebook tends to be cumbersome because the notebook gets full and it's hard to move around. My kids used to take 3x5 or 5x7 note cards and get one of those big old rings that you can hook the note cards in, and they would put a shortcut, a problem, and the shortcut and examples on each note card and be able to flip through the note cards very quickly as a review. So I think note card rings are very good. And of course, I mentioned knowledge and speed. There's a whole lot more hints on that other thing. And then of course, if you need more ideas or whatever, you can always use that email I told you about and contact me, and I'll see what I can do for you. Test taking tips. Warming up. Kids love to warm up before a contest. You want to take a practice test. I strongly suggest you get a bunch of elementary number sense tests or middle school number sense tests. Let them warm up with them. Most of your kids will have less difficult time with them. If they try to warm up with a hard high school test, they'll get so depressed they don't want to take the regular test. So see about getting some elementary and middle school tests to warm up with. Timers. I know people like to use a timer. I never let my kids use a timer. 10-minute test requires 10 minutes of concentration. Anytime your eyes leave the paper to look at the timer and go back down, you've lost 4 seconds. 4 seconds is a problem that could have been solved. your kids, in my mind, your kids should start when the person says go, and should never leave that paper in any way until they stop when they put their pencil down. That's just my opinion as an old coach. I don't like timers. Goal setting, I think it's very important that you get your kids to set goals. Not everybody can win. Somebody has to finish second, somebody has to finish third, somebody has to finish 20th. They need to set goals they can reach. Goals like, gee, I did 20 in the last competition, I'm going to do 21 this time. Or I got 17 right, I want to get 18 right. They need to set some goals. We used to refer to them as minimal and achievable goal, higher goal that with hard work it can achieve, and then that ultimate goal, I want to be a state champion, that kind of goal, which, doesn't happen often, but it can if the work is put in. Skipping, some coaches will not let their students skip. There's no reason not to skip. If you can see that you can do the next 2 or 3 problems by skipping that one, then you give up the 4 points and you gain the other points, the ones you can do. I don't have a problem with skipping. I think there's a right time to skip and wrong time to skip. Now, you don't want to skip to number 70 and just jump back to number 30 because there are a whole bunch of problems in there you can't solve. So be careful about skipping, but don't encourage your students not to. Estimations, I've already talked about. Markovers, distractions. You have to find ways so that your students are not distracted in any way during a 10-minute test. My kids used to take their practice tests when they did take a test with 2 radios on 2 different stations, one on each side of their body. So they had one on here, one on the other, 2 different stations, so that they were practicing. They were trying to keep their concentration on the test and not on the radios. Pen versus pencil. There are no rules in the UIL book that says you have to use a pen. I never let my kids use pens, but TMSCA state meet, they require a pen. There's reasonings for it and justifications, and I don't have a problem with it. But if my kids were allowed to use pencils, which most places they are, then that's what we used. Pens tend to glob ink, and then if you get that ink on the bottom of your hand and you're writing, it smears on the next problem, and then the next problem is considered to be a unnecessary mark, and so it's counted wrong. Click pencils, those things you click they're so tiny and so breakable that if it breaks, once again, that lead falls off, gets under the palm of your hand, and you take and mark that next problem with that pencil. That's an extraneous mark, and once again, it's wrong. So I suggest and made my kids use pencils, but yet there's a choice by you as a coach. Speed versus accuracy. I think speed is very important in a 10-minute test. However, if you're going so fast that you're missing a bunch, you're better off to be slower and be accurate. If you sit down and think about it, if you do 40 problems correct, you score 200. It's difficult for a lot of kids to score 200. Now you want to score more than 200, you're going to have to pick up a little more speed. But accuracy, I think, is more important than the speed, depending at what level you're at. This is probably, if I don't, let me see if I move this out of the way a little bit. There you go. If I don't tell you anything else, success is not due to some magical formula. The amount of success is determined by the amount of hard work and practice. Kids succeed by having the desire to want to do these. Number sense is a special test and takes special people to want to put forth this kind of hard work. But the success will be determined on how hard they work and how much they practice and how bad they want their goals to be met. So it's not magical. It's just like these shortcuts. It's not magic. These aren't tricks. These are shortcuts justified through mathematics. Okay. I have this one little question I thought I'd ask you towards the end. But before we do that, I want to go back and show you one more thing. So let's go back here and see if I can find it. There it is. This is what the SAC 2020 tests look like. This is what the tests look like. Okay, so you can see the different types of problems that there are. And there's that 19 squared. That's knowing the 35 squares. You have to know those. So this is what a test looks like. You'll be able to download this either from my correction webpage or the state one that should be there for you to download after this, you see this video. Okay, that's basically what a number sense test looks like. Okay, let's go back. Okay. If you have any questions or need any help with anything, I'll be more than happy to help you in any way that I can. You just have to be willing to contact me. I've had people say, well, you help so-and-so. And I said, well, I'd help you too if you'd asked. I don't know when you have a question or you don't have you have a problem with a problem, but the only way I'm going to know is when you ask. So be sure you email me when you do. Now, between today and tomorrow, I guess tomorrow will be next Tuesday, you need to have your questions ready because I'm going to do 2 live question and answer periods. And if you don't have questions, I can't provide answers. So take a look at the test, see if there's any grading questions you have or teaching or coaching questions or whatever type of question you might have so that you can ask them when we have those 2 live sessions. Okay, back to our question. What type of plant did ancient Roman botanists like the most? I'm sure you've already figured this out, but if you haven't, it must be ivy. I know you're moaning and groaning, but that's okay. All right, my friends, wish I was there with you in person so we could all hang out together and chew the fat and just enjoy visiting, but we can't. So maybe next year. So have a great day and remember number sense is just mind over matter. Have a good day.